In September 2019, 2 million people clicked attending on a Facebook event with a highly specific itinerary. Gather in the Nevada desert at 3 a.m., use the Naruto run to dodge bullets, and storm a classified military base to find extraterrestrials. While the internet treated it as a massive joke, the military prepared to use deadly force against trespassers. A tiny local sheriff's department in a town with a population of just 54 was suddenly handed a $300,000 security bill to police a desert wasteland. How exactly did a highly isolated 12,000 square kilometer patch of the Nevada Test and Training Range become the global epicenter of extraterrestrial mythology? That viral prank gained traction because it was feeding on a 70-year void of government information. To understand why millions of people were willing to storm the desert, we have to look back at the exact moment the government's credibility vanished. In July 1947, reports of flying discs flooded the American media. The frenzy reached a fever pitch when a farmer in Roswell, New Mexico, found weird, foil-like debris on his property. The local military airfield initially claimed they had captured a flying saucer, only to retract the statement a day later, insisting the object was a weather balloon. The debris actually belonged to Project Mogul, a top-secret acoustic espionage program. The military was launching high-altitude balloon arrays rigged with specialized microphones. The goal was to listen for the distinct low-frequency sound waves generated by Soviet nuclear tests happening thousands of miles away. Revealing the mechanics of Project Mogul would have tipped off the Soviet Union to America's surveillance capabilities. So the military chose to lie. They paraded officers in front of cameras with pieces of rubber and foil, expecting the public to move on. Instead, the clumsy retraction shattered public trust overnight. By attempting to hide a nuclear listening device behind a weather balloon story, the government built a framework for conspiracy theorists. They proved they were willing to lie, inviting an anxious public to fill in the resulting silence with aliens. By 1954, Cold War paranoia was mounting. President Dwight D. Eisenhower desperately needed intelligence on Soviet nuclear facilities, so he tasked the CIA with finding a covert testing ground to develop next-generation spy aircraft. They settled on a dry lake bed in Nevada called Groom Lake. This secret facility birthed Project Aquatone and its crowning achievement, the U-2 spy plane. The aircraft was designed to fly 4,800 kilometers without refueling, while carrying hundreds of pounds of camera equipment. This chart breaks down the U-2's extreme altitude capability. Commercial airliners of the 1950s cruised between 10,000 and 20,000 meters, but the U-2 operated far above them, soaring at 21,000 meters to evade radar and anti-aircraft fire. These test flights usually happened at dusk. Because the U-2 was flying so high in the stratosphere, its metallic body would catch the intense glint of the setting sun, while the sky below was already turning dark. From the ground, it looked like a glowing, unearthly orb streaking across the twilight. Reports of flying saucers spiked across the country. When the CIA cross-referenced these civilian UFO sightings with their own highly classified flight logs, the times and locations matched perfectly. The CIA realized the public was inadvertently tracking their top-secret espionage program. Instead of correcting the record, they embraced the conspiracy. Letting citizens believe they were seeing Martians was the ideal smokescreen to hide surveillance technology from the Soviets. That altitude advantage eventually failed. On May 1, 1960, a Soviet surface-to-air missile shot down CIA pilot Francis Gary Powers in his U-2. The military immediately recognized that flying high was no longer enough to survive. They needed to outrun the missiles. The urgent engineering solution was the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. It could fly at 3,400 kilometers per hour, remaining the fastest jet-propelled aircraft ever built. Releasing a jet with such a radical, angular fuselage into the skies naturally triggered a massive second wave of UFO sightings throughout the 1970s. The government maintained its strategy of silence. By refusing to acknowledge the Blackbird's testing, they allowed the mythos of Area 51 to cement itself permanently into pop culture. It was a calculated cost to safeguard their most sensitive aerospace breakthroughs. By the late 1980s, the government's policy of extreme secrecy had created a massive informational vacuum. Without official facts, opportunistic grifters realized they could hijack the Area 51 narrative for personal gain. The most famous was Bob Lazar. He claimed to be an MIT-educated scientist hired by the government to work in a secret underground facility called Sector 4. His supposed job was reverse engineering alien spacecraft powered by a mysterious substance called Element 115. Background checks later revealed Lazar fabricated his MIT education. As for his exotic Element 115, a team of Russian and American scientists actually synthesized it in 2003. They named it Moscovonium, and it possesses absolutely no anti-gravity properties. Yet Lazar's fictions survived for decades, eventually inspiring Maddie Roberts' viral Facebook post in 2019. Decades of unchecked lies ultimately transformed isolated, dusty outposts into viral tourist traps. Today, the approach has shifted towards transparency. In 2013, the CIA officially declassified the existence of Area 51. By 2020, the Pentagon ordered the release of extensive data on aerial anomalies. The military now refers to these sightings as UAPs, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. When investigated, the vast majority of these cases are quickly categorized as advanced military drones, decoy flares, or next-generation classified tests. The history of Area 51 reveals a strange reality. The base really did hide incredible, otherworldly flying machines in the Nevada desert, advanced craft developed by human engineers, and shielded by a highly effective, if accidental, PR cover-up.